How can I forget? I forgot to play the theme music, man. Well, hopefully we'll see him again. Kraken first pick. Ophelia, Cthulhu Font, Magnus, Swiftblade. The bands here. So, will he address the Oogie or the Lord South Force is the question.
I'm not too sure because I think the draft come out from Drents was more sort of to counter the strategy and the draft come out from Dawn in that they had heroes that were very very strong, which like Tempest and Magnus, but those almost were kind of bursty in that respect in sort of sense that after they're used they don't offer too much against it. But I mean if Dawn do follow a very similar draft in game one, then we might see Oogie and Lord South Forest again. I mean why not? They worked in game one, why couldn't they work in game two? But I think Parasite wasn't banned this game, so that as you see, there's no need to sort of rush pick a jungler because obviously you're going to get Tempest, Parasite, or at least Keep of the Forest. But Dawn to pick up Keep of the Forest, but it doesn't mean that they can't pick up Parasite and Tempest now. So they might pick it up. I mean, I don't think they're going to pick up either Tempest or Parasite here, although they might be debating it because at least they can get one or the other in that respect. I mean, as long as you get at least one jungler, then it's not that big of a deal. Because I mean, I think we've seen time and time again that in this sort of meta you have to play a jungler because it's just too valuable not to have one. So
it's kind of interesting how they faded away a little bit. I mean, obviously some changes were made to the jungle to kind of make that. That was the intention, I think, overall, to kind of make it less of a absolute that we have to do, but. It kind of has just developed back into it. It's just like people they kind of went up, but then they realized, wait a second, no, jungle's still really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because not only is jungle so strong, it's that running dual support is just so bad. Like you can't really do a lot of level 1 ganks because obviously Rune spawns at minute 2. You don't have any kind of smoke ganks like that might be involved in the scene. So after maybe that big balance patch, then we might see some more dual supports. But until then, just running dual jungle is the way to go because you can get so much more farm and stuff, and running dual support is just you're going to be so gimped in terms of golden experience that it's just probably not worth it. And what are you really gaining? Just maybe 2 lanes that are stronger, but you can sort of forfeit one lane and pick up a jungle, and it's almost like you're doing better anyway. So in that respect, that's probably why we don't see too many dual supports, but we might see it. I mean, I think Tankfet said there is a possibility to run dual supports, but it's in a very very small niche or very very small possibility. So we'll have to see. If that is the case here.
Putting some thought into this one here. I actually can't see the timer anymore, but
I can't either. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a little bug right there. But anyways, they were starting to dip in extra time. They still have plenty left, but gonna think about this. Make sure that they have a confident decision here again. Will they run that jungle or will they run something else here?
I'm pretty sure they're debating Tempest or Parasite here because if they don't pick Tempest or Parasite here, I'm pretty sure Dawn will either pick one of the others and then, as a result, ban it in the next phase. And not picking up a jungler, like I said before, is just a little bit risky. But I mean, it definitely can be run as a dual support. But the biggest thing is making sure that you have a strong lanes if you're running dual support. So there is the Tempest as expected, and most likely we're going to see a Parasite here unless they want to run Keeper in the jungle, which is definitely a possibility as well. So just to see what Dawn want to run with.
Yep. So there you go. Tempest coming out. So now, again, exactly back to Dom. There you go. they could go Parasite with the Suicide Keeper, and sure enough, they do here. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Ban on Malakin right away. So even with, maybe not the most success last game, I mean, individually, of course, he did farm very well, and it is a comfort hero. And they like it with, like, the Keeper of the Force especially, so it's just like,
Empath as well.
That's true, yeah.
Buffs up. I mean, the issue that they had in game 1 is that Malakun just wasn't steroid or farmed enough, or just didn't do enough damage. But obviously, with Empath as well, it's going to steroid him up in that respect. So it's just a good ban in that, and also it's a good signature hero from Dawn. And you never obviously want to give your enemies heroes that they feel comfortable with. So, but I really would like to see them ban Silhouette though. Please ban that Silhouette, or they're going to have issues. I'm sure. So there's the Silhouette ban. So everything good.
There's the Yogi ban. Yes. So they are interested in the Yogi. Again, it worked so well for them last game. So
Gemini's still on the board though, and a very very popular hero for Nullstone.
Beaver Banger, yes. Speaking of him being high up there on the GPM charts, I think it was 3rd overall right now. It's like just about 495 gold for him. I mean, that's when I was going over those creating the stats and everything, or just looking over them to create the graphics. I mean, it just really makes you realize there's a Gemini ban, sure enough. But yeah, the top Baltazar I think was on top of 522 gold per minute average. I mean, getting that much gold per minute every single game on average, if not higher, I mean, it's just ridiculous to think. But, I mean, I come from playing more of a support role in the end, so maybe it's not too crazy in the end, but I don't know. I feel like it's a stupid high number to average from game to game.
Moon Queen and Puppet Master are still on the board, and I think in this lineup, I think Moon Queen would be better stood, but they're going to pick up bubbles here first. They've got the Puppet or the Moon Queen last. For Dawn, though, I haven't really seen them play a lot of Moon Queen or Puppet Master. I don't know about you, but I don't know if that's their sort of style of hero. But
Moon Queen or Puppet Master, I mean... Yeah, we haven't watched a whole lot of these guys, to be fair. So it's yeah. When I think this, I think Gemini, as we already addressed, and him being banned out. So
I meant for Dawn. Sorry, I don't think Moon Queen and Puppet Master picked up too much for Dawn.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just thinking what kind of carry. I mean, they're right clicking the Soul Stealer here, but I mean, it does work quite well, obviously, with the Keep of the Forest, and I've got Empath as well. But I don't know. Thinking.
Yeah, you know we
Nighthund,
have
man.
Silhouette.
They got Nighthund.
Nighthund is on the board. He showed last cycle. He's talked plenty about it. I mean, that's one of these carries that he does like to play. They go with Prisoner here, so no carry just yet. But you know it's coming. You know something's going to happen here. So.
In that case, then I think they're going to have to run some kind of short lane carry. So we won't see Nighthund. It's probably going to be a Wretched Hag here, or even Soul Stealer for Dawn. But for Null, I think Moon Queen could work. I mean, they're going to go Ravener. So no, like a Ravener carry, which. I don't think you've actually seen a Ravenor carry before. I think I've talked about it before, and you sort of was a little bit.
We have. No, we have.
Okay,
I forget exactly who did it more recently, but we definitely saw one actually do fairly well. I want to say even last cycle, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that win percentage, man. 9 games, he's only won one of those 9 games. So I mean, this hero doesn't have a lot of wins, but he's been picked up a fair amount.
I'd be interested to see what kind of wins they were for. Was it for like mid-initiator Ravener or carry Ravener? Because I think carry Ravener actually works better than mid-initiator. We'll have to see. But there is a Soul Stealer pick up. But I think the Ravener can work quite well here because it's probably only going to be Soul Stealer picking up a Shrunken Head in the late game, maybe Prisoner as well. And similar to like game 1, it was only Melican who picked up the Shrunken Head, and you saw how much work Oogie was putting in because obviously the magical damage. And if the enemy team has only got one Shrunken Head carrier, then you could do so much damage on the rest of the 4 heroes. So again, I mean, I'm really being impressed with Trent's drafting, and again, we're seeing it here in game 2 as well. So
yeah,
looking forward to the game, man.
Here we are. Soulster, sure enough, that final pick for Probusk right here. And yeah, usually I don't know if that again, Probusk can play that. He can play any hero and be just fine at it, I'm sure, but. Yeah, it definitely stands out as maybe not one we're used to seeing him on all the time as of lately in the carry role. But by all means, a carry hero, potential hero that can get a lot of crazy farm, of course. So expecting that here, especially in the hands of Probusk. So, yeah, people might be wondering, and even saw a question or two about why Probusk wasn't on that top 5 list of GPM. But, again, that gathers from even before when he was also playing more of the middle role and everything. So. If we factored if just his carry role games, and I'm sure he would be up there, if not even honestly highest GPM. I mean, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, talking about Soul Stealer there, the highest goal per minute game actually was by Probusk playing Soul Stealer.
Oh yeah.
As Quincy, that's all
something
stated earlier.
ridiculous, like 700 and whatever.
Something crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was incredible.
So I guess he does have some experience that we've witnessed before, in that sense, but. Don does not like to play the Kraken, as they've only won 1 of the 6 games in total, so that's going to be something that they're matched up against here once again.
I'm wondering why Null so much picked up the bubbles there. I think they might even run maybe a solo middle bubbles and then run like Rhapsody Ravener in the bottom lane, just secure the farm on Ravener. And seeing as Keeper of the Forest isn't the greatest 1v2 suicider, I think that might be the way to go because, well, like I said before, whenever you run, or whenever you're against a prisoner, like you should always try and put a solo mid there because running a dual mid against Prisoner is very, very risky because of his sort of presence in the mid lane, because of the hook he has, and with Bubbles, obviously, he can actually take cover the hook kind of from Prisoner. So the way I'd actually like to see Nullstone lane this would be maybe Bubbles mid, Kraken suicide, and then try and steroid farm as much as possible the Ravener on the bottom lane. It'll give Keeper a hard time. Soul Stealer will have actually somewhat of a difficult time against a Kraken as well, and if they have Empath and Prisoner in the middle lane, then they won't be able to do too much against Bubbles, so I think that would be the best way that Nullstone could lane it.
Yeah. So. No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Prisoner or Bubbles is considered one of these definitely, hook counters in the sense of exactly, especially with the Prisoner. I mean, that takeover just makes it, all right, I see the ball and chain coming, press E, and I'm good to go.
Because... I mean, I mean, I would expect Dawn to sort of try and run a dual mid because that's the reason why they picked up Prisoner. And if Empath doesn't sit mid, then will definitely win that matchup. So, whatever Dawn or however Dawn actually lane this, Nullstone are going to come out somewhat ahead actually. So again, it just goes back to the great draft. And I mean, Trent's probably not the biggest sort of well-known sort of drafter and captain, but I mean, just these 2 games, very, very much impressed because everything just seems to click, and everything's just very, very well synergized. So, definitely props to him, man.
Yeah, I mean, these are Nullstone's one of these teams. I mean, ever since they got in it, did they start in Diamond from Cycle 1? I'm actually blanking on that. I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure they were Gold Cycle 1, and then they advanced to Diamond in Cycle 2. But anyways, my point being, they were gold, yeah. So yeah, they've been in Diamond ever since. I mean, this is a team that's kind of been, I don't want to say under the radar necessarily, but they've been almost kind of quietly somewhat successful team. Like we mentioned earlier, 3rd place in Cycle 2. They've gotten 5th or 6th since then, even a 4th place finish in there, I believe. So they've kind of been one of these mid-tier teams that...
The recent gaming.
Yeah, the recent gaming that they were before, at least. You know, not so much anymore, I guess. But
no, I mean, like the recent gaming sort of style of, like, team in terms of
okay, true. So yeah, they never really got a whole lot of recognition.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They were always kind of there. But yeah, that goes back to Trent, as you're talking about, you know, being this captain that is kind of under the radar, really. You know, he may not be known as one of these top captains that we're used to saying the name of, but perhaps it is something that we should start looking more into. That he knows what he's doing.
Ooh, Empath?
Yeah, Empath, actually.
Can't
Rhapsody?
Catch.
No. That's a wall that in. Going to be fine, but here come the blocking of the camps, and for good reason, of course. Is Parasite going to go aggressive by chance? No. Doesn't look like it from what he has, which is nothing.
Oh yeah, so he's pulled regen, I think, isn't he? Yeah.
Scarab coming in. He's gonna get the blood chalice first.
Yeah, I think he pulled regen to Keeper, I believe. Or
probably.
Yeah, I think he's pulled some regen. Yeah, he's pulled regen to Keeper because Keeper's still got 260 gold in his bank. So, yeah.
There you go, right there. So yeah, speaking of the matchups, so are we gonna see Bubble? No, Bubbles is going top. I mean, I was agreeing with you, especially against
the Prisoner. It makes the most sense. I mean, Kraken obviously can W away at the same time. Maybe they just want to rotate a lot of farm. But I think actually if they put Kraken top, then I think you'd get a lot more farm than he would middle lane anyway. But it's just going to be, no, so they're going to leave actually Prisoner versus Kraken. So in this respect, actually, it's probably best for Nullstone Gaming because they want to get more farm on Kraken than they do on Bubbles. And obviously Bubbles can work very, very well against Empath in the short lane because obviously the take cover stops the Essence link. So yeah, it's probably the best way how Null could have laned it actually.
Very true. With how it's set up in the end, yeah, you could say it's a good decision by Nullstone. So the mind game's coming about, no doubt, and looks like Nullstone made the correct choice here. Ravener in the short lane, Beaver Banger, of course, expecting him to have a very good time. And we can go back to, I mean, this hero only has apparently only won 1 game ever out of 9 attempts in Haunt Tour Season 3 so far. So, you know, not the highest win percentage, but it's the potential's there. The potential is there, when especially in a carry role, when he starts going, man. Only win was played as a short lane carry.
I was wondering
against the solo. Okay.
Yeah. Because I asked Quincy, like, I think a little bit before, I said, when does he actually become like? What are the wins for? So the one win was when he was carry. So I think that is the best way to play Ravener nowadays. Because there's so many better mid initiators like Kraken or Gauntlet or Pebbles or whatever. But Ravener doesn't do too well in mid initiator. But it really depends how well he can sort of start. If he can get the snowball, like I guess any carry, he'll do very, very well. But.
Okay. Oh, top lane, Bubbles. Okay, Parasite's up here as well, looking to put the mana burn on him, but Bubbles is going to be fine as he shelters off the ledge, and will survive. Of course, is he still level 1? Yeah, he's still level 1, so they're doing a good job of boxing him out as you would expect here with that matchup, but middle lane matchup, that's the intriguing one, kind of really a true 1v1 here. You got Kraken 7-2. Prisoner 9-2 so far. Kraken usually fairly good in a melee 1v1 matchup.
Yeah.
With that splash.
Kraken should take that about like 70-30.
Yeah.
In that respect. But I was just saying, actually, Parasite's had a bad time. He has eventually unblocked the camp, but compared to the level 3 Tempest already, like, this is the reason why Nullstone are ahead by about 600 experience in that respect, just because of Parasite having a bad time. But he has unblocked at least 1 camp, so he's going to start farming up in that respect. But I think he'll have to be active, particularly in the middle lane or the top lane, to really sort of counteract the better farming potential from Tempest than Parasite. So.
Bottom lane, Ravener, they're really pushing this tower quite a bit, but again, going back to keeping the forest, he's doing the nasty pulls that he does, I'm sure, so they're having to, but this is the best way to kind of go against it in a sense. You just like, you know what, we're just going to push your tower and put some good damage into it at the same time. So it's already dropping below half life here even. And that's something to be of concern for Dawn earlier on. We'll see if they're able to get a kill on it or not. But I will say, Beaverbanger's creep farm, though, only 9-1 so far. Under 200 gold per minute at 3 minutes in. Again, not where you want to be as a short lane farming Ravener. So, again, take it how you will because it is a keeper, but still.
Yeah, obviously it's going to increase eventually, but yeah, you saw that stat there posted by Quincy. But I mean, when you ever go against a keeper or any kind of puller, your CS will eventually just be a lot lower, but maybe not as low as expected, I guess. But.
Shout out to Beef, tuning in. He's tuning in there. Always a good guy. Shout out to all the subs for that matter, too. I see even more people subbing today. The sub hype is real. I know we're not offering much to you guys in the end. It's just you guys just truly showing your support for the competitive pod scene, and definitely can respect that. So, shout out to you guys especially. Keeping the force over for the time being at the Ancients. He's actually just a timid one animated tree against the Ancients, doing what he can at this time. So, but yeah, expect Ravener's Farm to start jumping up as it kind of is here. But Bubbles in the meantime, only level 2 so far. So they're doing a pretty good job of keeping him boxed out as they say that he's kind of in leech range right now of getting some experience. But Probusk and Soul Stealer also doing pretty damn good. In fact, the top farmer in the game right now, to really no surprise, at about 320 gold per minute.
I mean, I think this game will be quite stagnant in the first couple of minutes because there's going to be no rotations unless some kind of crazy haste run happens. Although middle lane, though, there is some kind of rotation, but I don't think we'll see any kills too early because obviously Keeper is just going to be AFK farming the Ancients, so no way they can kill him there. Hook just missed on Kraken, but not the biggest deals. And the only person who can really get involved early on is probably Parasite. And you see, there's no way they can really kill Kraken unless they hit a perfect hook, which is always hard to happen. So.
Now, going back to Ravener real quickly. So again, we've seen him only a couple times in general, very even fewer as that carry role. Is the usual thing, from my understanding, to go like an Abyssal Skull off the bat because you really want to take advantage of the mana? So Thunderclaw you expect here?
Yeah. I mean, normally, whenever I see a carry Revenant, I think the first people to sort of really show me it was, I think it was Boxy from Tree. Like, he'd go Abyssal Skull into Thunderclaw, and then from there, go some other kind of items. Normally, you have to have the Abyssal Skull, and then I think the second farming item is either the Thunderclaw or the Dawnbringer, depending on sort of personal preference. But I'm almost 100% we're going to see the Abyssal Skull, because it's just so useful in sort of farming the jungle because obviously the lifesteal. And he's already picked up the Ring of the Teacher here as well, so we're going to see that.
Oh, all right there, Kraken. And that ability, man, it's just like you can hear from anywhere. But Prisoner using his Prison Break right there, but again, that's as we see, Kraken can just use the Tsunami Charge. I'm kind of curious as to why the Shackles weren't used by Prisoner. I guess it might have just been it was just too late right there. And in fact, if that's the case, I mean, he probably should have Shackled first and then R, because I believe that means that he actually tried to ulti first before shackling.
Yeah, definitely. And
thus the kill didn't happen.
Yeah, he can't charge obviously through shackled, so. But yeah, I mean, I think the first kill we're most likely going to see, ignoring any kind of big misplay or big, any kind of big play from that, it's going to be most likely a level 6 on Parasite, because when he hits level 6, he can jump into a Wild Hunter and almost get any kind of lane. But even then, though, Kraken's very, very tangled middle lane. Bubbles is playing incredibly defensive. So, I mean, both teams are happy to sort of farm out as much as possible because both have a very similar strategy. Just steroid farm their carries, obviously, with Ravenel and Soul Stealer. And then they're just going to sort of start team fighting eventually. But they're going to take the tier 1 bottom. And the only problem here with Dawn is that they don't have any kind of pushing jungler in that respect because they can't take this tier 1 bottom. So Null Stone Gaming, they might even push onto a tier 2, and there's no way they can really make a rotation. There's no level 5 on either Keeper or Parasite. Yeah. And I don't think Prisoner or Soul Stealer actually want to rotate because they're busy farming. So this might even be a tier 2 tower, and that would be a massive boost here of gold for Null Stone.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, I mean, that first tower was already dropping a half-life very early on in the game, and here we go, they're taking advantage of it. Back to the middle lane, Kraken this time, the Prison Break comes out, the Shackle is on. Kraken here already uses charge, and Bloodlust kill will come out as Iceland Gogo actually on Parasite, getting credit for the Bloodlust kill right there. So good assistance, Empath even in there for the assist. So sure, they're not protecting the bottom lane all too much, but they do get the Bloodlust kill at about 7.5 minutes into this game finally. Onto the Kraken right there. So well played. And this bottom tower, I mean, for the time being, it's still actually good to
He
go
was
for
doing a
now.
good job there.
Yeah.
He's delaying him. He's actually taking the creep wave along with his animated trees, although they just did die there. Not the biggest of deals. He's going to pull him again, but still a lot of damage being taken on the tower, but they are taking this quite slow. And, I mean, Labyrinth does have a TP on him as well, and he is actually running down the bottom lane, so maybe they are going to try and contest this eventually. But, I mean, Yellow Rex are doing a great job there, just sort of slowing down the push as much as possible, just sort of allow the rotation to come out from Dawn.
Yeah. They're just keeping it. Now, so this is getting to a point, I think, for Nullstone, though, that they've been sitting here for a good 2 minutes now, I feel like, almost out. Just as 3 of them just kind of pushing out this bottom lane, and you kind of wonder if that's really the best use of their time, especially for this Tempest. I mean, he's probably losing out on some farm here.
Yeah, I mean, Ravener and Rapsil would be doing the same thing. It's just depending on where the lane actually is. But for Tempest, he has to actually run over, and he's going to go back and farm. So maybe they're going to start pushing again when the Astrolabe is picked up from Tempest, because then that's most likely going to secure the tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
That's if Dawn don't rotate in, but still just good play coming out from Yellow Rex. So if he doesn't actually pull the creep wave away, then that's going to be an easy tier 2 tower. But Ravener is still going to rotate onto the tier 2 tower, but he has to be careful though, because Keeper does have roots, so there can easily be TPs coming out from Parasite as well as Prisoner if he's not careful.
I know you were of a big critic last cycle of Yellow Rexar and his Keep the Forest play, so keep an eye on that here this game especially.
He's doing fine now. So.
Stepping his game up a little bit here, you can say. Portal Key just picked up by Soulstealer, by the way. He actually drops it right there. Not too sure why. Maybe he's trying to keep it hidden, but back to the middle lane. Kraken in the meantime. Kraken's going to fall. Prison Break comes out again. The Shackles. With the Shackles, he cannot charge once again. And thus the kill is successful. So I saw them. I mean, they were almost like they were trying to bait what's a Legion team, but they hung around a little too long. And now another hook coming out. They catch Rhapsody this time. The root is going to be used to secure the kill. I mean, it was going to be close if they didn't root. Probably necessary, so still worth it. And they get the kill on the support Rhapsody. In the meantime, top tower, Soulstealer pushing it in. Bubbles attempts to deny it, but not in time. And, I mean, look at Probusk. He's sitting with the portal key on the ground. Obviously, they cannot see it. That change happened a while ago. So Nullstone Gaming is not aware that he has the portal key yet. It's basically what Probusk is doing here. Because I guess he just doesn't need it currently. So
he doesn't need it, but at the same time, I don't really like the portal you pick up from Soulstealer. I think we saw it from Probus before because, I mean, he did this in I think in the last series we casted a while ago. Tier 2 tower does get denied. Kind of a big deal actually coming out from Nullstone, seeing as much amount of effort and time they did put in for it to get denied is kind of a big deal. But yeah, just going back to the Soulstealer pickup, or the portal key pickup on Soulstealer, he really will have a lot of mana issues, particularly if he uses the portal key quite freely. And I mean, if he's not going to use the portal key, then why pick it up in the first place? I really think he should have picked up the Nullstone first because it offers him that kind of regen and that farming capability. But now with the portal key, he'll have to start using it, and at the moment he's just farming with it. So to me, I don't understand why he's picked up the portal key.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion so many times before. It's just like you get an item like portal key that applies 0 stats. Exactly. I mean, you better make use of it, and he's gonna try right here. It looks like. So clearly, he does pick it up, so that's the idea that they're going with. They're going to try to pick up the middle lane. Kraken, he's the target, but he's doing a pretty good job of staying back, so a little bit of time spent right there trying to set up that gank, and ultimately for nothing. So back to the jungle, Soulstealer will go and continue to farm. Again, he has those demon hands now. He doesn't have the Nullstone as you're talking about, so his regen not really that great right now, but he's still able to nuke them down pretty quickly in the meantime while he has the mana pool on him. So Probusk is still managing 450 gold per minute, but I mean, yeah, you could argue it could be higher.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have the Nullstone now. Like, if he didn't pick up the portal key, he would have the Nullstone now, and like, give it a couple more minutes, and then he would pick up the portal key afterwards. It doesn't make sense to go this kind of item progression, like portal key, then go back for the Nullstone. Like, you'd obviously go Nullstone and then the portal key, but in the end, not the biggest deals. I mean, the portal key does allow him to have some kind of defensive capabilities as well. Like, for example, if he gets try to get skanked from bubbles for it, perhaps he can maybe get the portal key away. But still, to me, it just seems a little bit strange and a little bit illogical, but still doing it perfectly fine with the amount of GPM he's got right now. And he's going back for the Nullstone, which is definitely needed when you pick up a Soulstealer. And with the change to Nullstone, it's just such a great item. So.
That's the Stainer definitely picked up, so already kicking in the region as well as even a little bit of extra damage, of course. So, Prisoner continuing to be in the middle lane. It looks like he's getting close to that portal key now, about 1,400 gold saved up. He is going to be able to follow up Soulstir's portal here shortly. Abyssal Skull finished recently on Beaver Banger. Again, his GPM has definitely jumped up. We talked about earlier how it was pretty low, but he's at 360 gold per minute right now. Definitely pretty respectable at this point. The Storm Blades also allow him to do some pretty good damage here as far as assisting with that farm. And again, that goes back to having the Abyssal Skull, especially the mana regen on it. Really helps kick in, and it applies the charges to the ultimate of his, what is that called? The Power Overwhelming buff of Ravener here. So top lane, maybe some initiation. You do see Bubbles. He's hanging out. Bubbles only just level 6, man. So again, Fuzzy Sloth, he's doing what he can here at this top lane, as it's been a struggle, understandably. And in the meantime, Kraken coming in with the invis, but clearly something was given away to Don. Something just didn't feel right. So
yeah. I think they saw him with this water sight in bottom lane. So
okay,
yeah, not the biggest of deals. I mean, they've got the Tempest pick up the Ashley, but like the two kind of core items you need to start, making the team fights happen is the portal key or the initiation and the Astrolabe, and they need this portal key on Kraken. He's about 1,000 gold away, but Soul still might be in a little bit of trouble actually.
Oh, that is definitely a kill. Yep, Kraken doing a good job with the invis and being patient. In the meantime, Parasite comes in, and now it's Bubbles and Kraken versus him. The silence going to be in effect, but no, he infests Melissa in time. And he definitely will get away. I mean, obviously Magic Immunity, so nothing much they can do against that. But, yeah, that was close to even a kill on a Parasite. But, hey, picking off Soulstir, I'm sure they're very happy with that in the end. And now a little bit of top tower push presence kind of going to kick in here for Nullstone Gaming. So the Invis rune does eventually work out there for Kraken, who's being very patient with it. And, again, his start hasn't been the best. He was killed a couple of times earlier on, so that's good to see. Portal Key just finished on Labyrinth, however, in the meantime. Playing the Prisoner, and they're going to be counter-pushing the middle lane here, so we'll see how far they get with that. I don't think they're going to get the tower kills. In fact, they're being collapsed on that. Ravener comes in with that ball lightning. Staccato says to follow. The TP's on top of that. Prisoner comes out. Prisoner, he's going for a counter kill. It's not going to be in time, though. Now, Empath also in trouble. She has played a Greaves, by the way, so she's tanked up a little bit right here. Kraken charge, so just enough. No, they can't get it off. Yes, they can. The juke's a little right there, but not enough. Beaver Banger with credit of the kill. So, man, I mean, what was a 3,000 golden experience that all of a sudden drops on the tower kill bottom helps a little bit, but at least Nullstone Gaming once again hanging in there early on.
Yeah, just a little bit risky count from Dawn. Like, I mean, it was only the Prisoner and Empath farming. Actually, top lane, actually, Tempest, you're dead.
He is definitely dead. Yep.
Oh,
nice deny by
Nice.
Probusk. Well played.
Yeah.
Coming out right there.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit risky play coming out from Labyrinth. Like, Bubbles was off the board. Like, you know the sort of cookie cutter sort of strategy of, Bubbles, Keltfield on top of like 3 TPs, and they have to be a little bit more careful, as well as obviously Tempest as well, but not the biggest of deals. They do drop the tower, was denied, but again, I think it goes back to the sort of strategy here for both these teams is very, very similar. Try and get as much farm on the carries, who can out-farm him, and then once, both carries have got enough farm, they're happy to team fight, and then it all goes back to, who has the better team fight, and who can play it better in terms of in the actual team fights themselves. And because, I mean, they've got a Parasite pick up here for Dawn, but they can't really, utilise it that much outside of maybe the Prisoner. It's just very, very hard to, because obviously if there is any ganks, you're going to see instant rotation come out from Nullstone. They've got Portal Key on, as well as Kraken and Bubbles, so they have to be very, very quick in these pickoffs, and I don't think they have the burst damage to kill anyone on the Nullstone team without any kind of rotations. But middle lane, though. Yeah,
middle lane indeed. Kraken comes in, put a nice pull from Prisoner right there. Prisoner break comes out once again on top of the shackle. Parasite infests the crypt. Kraken, he gets pulled in due to the Prisoner break, but the Tempest ultimate coming out. That's not going to be stopped right here. Is a damage follow-up enough? It is for Parasite kill at least. Can they get anything further? Empath off by himself. She's in trouble, but the port out. No, the Kraken charge comes in time, and they get the kill. The hook from Prisoner trying to get the angle on a Kraken, but unsuccessful. So well played right there by Nullstone Gaming ultimately, and coming together, getting a couple of kills. They took the experience lead even very slightly here, and now they're going to be pushing this middle tower. Now, Keeper Root is still up, and Soulstealer has a Soul Burst in 3 seconds. Prisoner going to be spotted. They got the Red Void down. They're going to initiate, but Soulstealer expecting to be jumping in any second most likely. Yeah, he's coming in. There's a Soul Burst. Step right on top of Protectable. They get bursted down. It did help Tempest, though, I believe, as Prisoner gets picked off. Tempest will follow. Double tap for Probusk. And now Bubbles on the run himself. He has Shell Serve in 2 seconds, has a Portal Key. Gonna use it. Should be fine. Yeah, saw that coming, though. I mean, I know they didn't clearly, but yeah, you can see on the mini-map, Soulstealer was ready to line that up. And he sure enough did with that soul burst in the background. So
yeah, and I don't like Nelson obviously know that Dawn are going to defend, and then the question is that can we fight them if they do defend, which they're going to do. And Tempest ultimate was down, Kraken ultimate was down. I think Protector Melee was the only ultimate up, seeing as Keltford was down as well, and they won the team fight, but that doesn't instantly mean that you can start taking objectives after the team fight, because now Dawn did defend, and now they're going to take Conqueror, and Nelson Gaming are just not in a position to fight because obviously some of them are dead, some of them are regenning, and I think this Conqueror is going to be dropping. Oh no, they are backing off actually, so they're going to respect actually the rotation coming out from Nelson Gaming in the end.
This is kind of one of those interesting things of, again, this is where the delay kind of sucks to an extent, but at the same time, there's some good points being brought up how the portal key dropping earlier from Soulsteal there, I guess you could have looked at it as he was keeping it on the ground, because it's one of those cases, it doesn't go on cooldown if you don't actually have it in your inventory. So I guess the idea that if he got jumped, he could then pick it up real quick and then portal key away. I mean, I guess that's that's kind of a fun thing, but I don't know if that's like something you should be doing all the time necessarily. But so maybe that was some of the logic. But anyways, what's done is done there. Clearly the Conqueror attempt stopped right there. Tower goes down.
I still don't think you should get portal key first before the Nullstone because of that reason, but not the biggest deals. And they're going to they're going to still leave Conqueror up, or they're going to try. Yeah, they're going to try and take it. But there's a ward spot in him here. But I mean, the Conqueror was like half HP once they left it, and Nullstone going to have to instantly rotate now if they do want to defend. And I think it might be a little bit too late actually.
Yeah, they're way too late. Yeah, that's definitely going to be Conqueror kill. Kraken comes in, relates to Kraken, does catch, but still caught the token alive. And now Kraken, he's on the run off to the side. Bubbles gets hit by Prisoner. Going to be fine, able to shelter him out. Keep it the force. He's still being caught up. He already uses the Soul Burst on top. And Kraken's dropping quicker. Protectability will help save him low. In the end, Rhapsody's going to fall. Tempest also in a bad spot. The slow taking effect, and the final auto attack to finish him off. A double tap for Soulsteal there, who still has the token now, by the way. So again, that was one of your classic cases of going in just at the absolute worst time as Conqueror falls.
It was clearly just incredibly rushed. They're like, oh guys, they're doing Congo, let's go. Instead of like sort of, if they lose Congo, that's not the biggest of deals. But now they're going to lose, obviously they lost 2 heroes, they're most likely going to lose a tier 2. And just in that sort of split second of just kind of madness in that respect, they lose so much more than they would have lost just from giving up Congo in that respect. None of their team were really ready, and it was Kraken YOLOing in, trying to defend by himself. And the worst time, as you said, Break, is trying to fight against Congo when they've already taken the Congo kill. So, not the biggest of deals, but at the same time, they are very far behind now. So,
yeah, I mean, not only simply just gave up that Conqueror, sure, still would have sucked, but at least they would have obviously not had died when they did, and then also this secondary tower could have very likely still been alive, if anything, but they lose it very easily. No buybacks used at least, but all of a sudden Soulsteal now is, I believe, a full shuriken head being delivered. Yeah, full shuriken head being delivered. They got a puzzle box, actually. That's going to be another level for Parasite here. Also on the courier going to be coming out, so a lot of good things definitely starting to come together for Dawn once again. Specifically, though, leading the way, as you would expect, is that Soulsteal. So speaking of leading the way, Beaver Banger playing the Ravener here. Looking to see how he continues to advance. I mean, so far, it's been solid here. He's 1-0-2, though. And, I mean, that's kind of, for me, that's almost a little bit like, this is one of these kind of carry presence heroes that you expect him to have a lot of action and be involved. I mean, sure, not dying, and, they only have 6 kills total, but I think that may have a lot to do with why their success maybe isn't as high. He does have the portal key now, but...
I mean, if you're going to go carry Ravener, you don't go portal key. You go all in terms of good farming and then just good sort of burst, and you rely on your team to get the lockdown. And I mean, I think you can rely on his team. They've got great lockdown. They've got 10 best bubbles and Kraken, all enough to really sort of hold him in place to really dish out that kind of damage. And so when you pick up the portal key, not only does it reduce your sort of farming speed, because obviously you're not going to go for the Thunder Claw or the Dawnbringer, but also reduces any kind of carry presence. Obviously it does increase your sort of ganking potential, but if you're a carry Ravener, you have to be farming. You're not really going to be able to start roaming around the map and start ganking, and so this kind of split between half gank and half initiate, I really think is going to hurt them. Obviously Kraken does fall in the bottom lane, and this is most likely going to be a tier 2. Might even be pushing on to Rax if Nullstone aren't careful.
Yeah, those are obviously illusions there in the middle lane. They're very aware of that as Nullstone, so Kraken got picked off by one of the real ones, in fact, including several others. So this bottom secondary tower definitely going to keep that pressure on, so Nullstone, they know, especially with that token. Probably not worth the fight. Let's just give it in. There is still the top secondary tower, but yeah, I'm sure Dawn is going to be knocking on the door here as far as the bottom lane goes and seeing what they can make happen. So Tempest doesn't have a portal key or anything like that, so don't expect some big jump from him at this time. And yeah, needs to avoid that hook right there, as he does. Kraken going to be up in 5 seconds. That's going to be their big initiator, no doubt. So we'll see when he's up if Dawn's still going to push. It looks like they are for the time being, so down goes the tower. Kraken, you got to expect any time now maybe going to go for that charge attempt. But again, it's so tough because Soulstar has that token, so you don't want to waste too much at the same time of trying to burst him down. So, of course, they want to save the melee reaction, and it looks like they might be able to do that for now. It depends on how much really Dawn invests into pushing this. Another creep wave coming up, but it looks like they might start falling back here.
Yeah, they don't have Keeper Ultimate, neither do they have Prisoners One-Man Riot, and they don't have As One from Empath as well. So they're just going to reset, farm the enemy jungle. It's the right play to make. They don't need to rush anything. Yes, obviously they do have the token from Soulstealer, but there's probably buybacks for Nullstone Gaming that they have to account for as well. So they've still got, they don't have token in the next team fight, but you know they're very, very far ahead. The worst thing they can do is just sort of throw the lead they have now. So
yeah.
I think it's a safe and right call to make. Ultimates were down from Dawn as well. So.
You look at Soulstealer, he'll gladly fall back and do some Ancients. And I saw another stat that Quincy busted out earlier worth reiterating here is that Pro Busk is actually one of the highest player hero combination goal per minute things. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, 2 games on Soulstealer, he's been averaging like 7, or he averages like 770 goal per minute basically. The 2 games that he's played Soulstealer before, that's on those 2. So as far as like player hero combos go, it's up there as one of the highest. I think that like I think Haxor's Dark Lady was up there as well. That combo. But anyways.
Reiki, look, Ironstone outside of support.
Oh my God, who got it? It was Empath playing. You go big play. All right. Somebody finally.
Here it comes. It's the revolution.
Yeah, it's finally. Apparently, it's catching on. I mean, he is playing Empath also. That's kind of makes it pretty funny, but actually picks up a regen rune right there with the Ironstone. So yeah, one of these items that. Hey, expect to maybe see it a little more, but only support so far. But here we go on the top lane. They're looking to get a jump right here. Root is ready to go. It got canceled initially because of the stun, but actually that's probably for the better. They're still going to kill Ravenor, and now they still haven't Keeper Root. So it's almost like that was a blessing in disguise right there, that the ball lightning stun stopped him at that point. So here comes the top tower push. Easily going to happen. All 5 are here, and now they're going to be pushing into the top tower base. Most likely, no, they make. Okay, yeah, they're going to transition to the bottom. That makes sense. Want to take advantage of what's already cleared, obviously, at this point. And this is one of those cases. I mean, also, this is like a final fight for them. If they don't hold right here, this is possibly game. Because Dawn is just so far ahead at this point. Look at the GPM charts, man. It's like a pretty even spread throughout everyone except Soulstealer. He's just crazy out there. Speaking of Soulstealer, he's going to be trying to release Kraken. He does not have a token of life right now. Actually, the burst damage isn't real enough. It looks like it might be. Room comes out. Soulstealer, no, he gets the soul burst off. And speaking of burst damage, he's like, I got plenty myself, bitches. Tempest Ultimate going to lock them down, but 0 damage. Follow-up really coming in. Soulstealer still well alive in the background. GG, well played. We're going to a game number 3 of Dawn versus Nullstone Gaming here, with Dawn taking game number 2. Wow, I mean, yeah, they tried to burst down that Soulstealer, but it didn't happen, and the return happened.
That honestly, Revenant Carry just had no impact in the game. He picked up the portal key to try and make something happen, but was incredibly low in terms of GPM and just didn't have any kind of impact that I expected from a Revenant Carry. And you know, the complete polar opposites, with Soulstealer having a massive impact, farmed incredibly well, and when it came to the team fights, absolutely destroyed them, honestly, with the